Hi, it's been quite a while since I've uploaded a video to this channel. Probably about 2 years now since I've actually uploaded a video, and there was only 3 episodes of this series that I'd done. So no, I didn't get COVID or anything, I didn't die. There's a couple of reasons as to why I, didn't upload. None of them are a good reason to explain why I've been away for 2 years, but I will get into some of the reasons that involved my delay or absence in this channel, because I've been uploading on my other channel quite frequently. So, just to give you guys an idea of what's going to be in this video, I'm going to give you an update on what happened, where I've been, what caused this absence. I'm also going to show off this apartment that I'm in. Completely different apartment from the last one. I know an apartment tour followed by an apartment tour is not exactly a riveting thing, but I feel like I might as well just show it here and now in this update video, and then we can move on. And then I'm going to tell you guys about what next videos are coming, that I'm going to film just after this one, just so that there are some basic topics that I feel like I should have at least recorded in a normal sense back when I was trying to do these videos. So let's get into this. The reason or reasons why I haven't uploaded, some of them are quite serious, and then others is just come on man kind of thing. So let's start off with the first reason that happened. So not long after I uploaded the first video, I actually did have several ideas for what other kind of videos I could do. Some friends had also given me some suggestions. I was thinking best on how to make these videos in a way that was up to my own standards of presenting them, while also being informative and entertaining for the audience. These ideas were showing my city, Yangzhou. There were interviews with my co-workers, with kids that I work with, and parents, and some other kind of videos. I actually did film quite a lot of stuff for Yangzhou, but not that I don't have an eye for framing pictures, it's just I don't have the correct experience. I don't have the right amount of experience to film a city, and I haven't, despite being here for 2 years, I haven't explored a whole lot of Yangzhou. Yangzhou it's a big city and it's very spread out. I'm kind of around like on the east side of Yangzhou, but like the denser part of it, the downtown part of it, is on the west side, and I don't go to it often because Yangzhou is spread out by quite a large distance, and traveling to places obviously requires taxis, cars, buses. There's a lot of traffic, and I don't fully know my way around. Now, I have been to a lot of places in Yangzhou, but they're not enough for me to show, apart from maybe 1 or 2 places which I will talk about in a future video. The other reason, and the more important reason as to why I didn't immediately make videos after the 3rd episode, was due to an injury I had given myself. I was trying to be a bit more social, try to be a bit more healthy, and I asked any parents if they had any football teams or five-a-sides that I could join, just to play once a week, twice a week. One of the parents luckily did have a team, so I went with him on one of the days, and they put me in the starting lineup for the first game. Now, I had been given football boots, and I just put on. I wasn't used to the AstroTurf and the grip that my boots had on this AstroTurf, so I passed the ball and I went to turn and run, and I wasn't used to how much my foot was gripping onto the Astro. Like, it was so stiff almost. That as I ran, my foot didn't realize it needed to move, and I fell, and I put my hand down to stop my fall, as you would, but the full weight of my fat body came down on it and pushed against my hand and then again into my shoulder. I knew something was up because when I looked at my shoulder, it was drooping. There was no like protrusion from the actual bone, so I was like, oh great, I've probably dislocated it. So I tried to relocate it despite not knowing if I'd actually dislocated it, so I probably hurt myself more doing that. A couple of hours later, I went to the hospital. They took some x-rays, they took some scans, and they told me that I had torn my shoulder ligaments. And in their words, they said it was the worst thing I could have done outside of losing the arm. So I would have been better to break my shoulder than I would have been to tear the ligaments. That required surgery, so I was in hospital for about a week. Surgery wasn't bad. You can see the scar from it. So the surgery was just to clamp my shoulder plates, I believe, or just the bones that like kind of split apart from the ligaments together to hold them and let them heal up and keep this clamp for life now. But then they told me you can't do any physical, like strenuous physical exercise, like any dancing or running or playing football for that matter. I was like, well, obviously I can't play football because my shoulder was kind of like this, but I'm a teacher who has to dance and run, so that was a bit hard for those 6 months. But that was 6 months where I couldn't play football. And like a previous football injury I had gotten, when I got sent off and could not play due to an injury, I kind of receded into a sort of lazy state in terms of my social life, so my social and like health. So that's the reason why I stopped uploading videos, because I was dealing with that. Another reason was not even 2 weeks after the surgery and I went home, I was moving apartment. This was very sudden though. One of the co-workers was having a baby, and she had this 1-bedroom apartment, and she didn't think to get a new apartment to accommodate this baby that she'd been planning on and, you know, was pregnant with for 9 months. So I was like, well, I'm going to be looking for a new apartment come October anyway, because I wanted a bigger space. It's kind of see already. So I said, why don't you take my apartment, because it's much bigger than yours and it's going to be free and it's cheap. So she took my apartment and I moved out and found this lovely place. That was quite difficult. So obviously doctors have told me, do not do any strenuous exercise. Any physical like toll on your body is going to mess up this surgery. So what do? Move myself by packing up everything with one hand, lifting heavy objects with one hand, and unpacking and putting everything back with one hand. I think my boss just about was that close to killing me when I told her everything that I'd been moving while holding this surgery. She was so close to like just throttling me, because obviously I'm an asset to her work. I'm someone she needs, and I was really pushing my luck with the injury. So I moved, I set up an apartment. That was taking a couple of days, and I need to settle into these apartments, so I didn't want to do anything different for a while I made this place look nice, because it was a good apartment, but I needed it to look more like my apartment, and I didn't want to show anything off while I was still trying to fix that. But then work, another change happened in work, and I had to take on a lot more responsibilities that I wasn't anticipating. So I had to focus more on work, and the more I had to focus on work, the more tired I got, and I didn't really have that kind of creative engine for making videos. And then the overall reason to cover probably like the year and a half that I could have made a video, I'm lazy. it's not maybe not that I'm lazy. It's just that like I have like it's a thing where you have these bursts of creative juice, creative energy, and then you turn it towards something and you do it for an hour or two, and then it fizzles. Usually that goes into my other channel with the gaming videos, or more recently with the blog that I do. But I never really reserved any time to do this channel, and coupled with it, I didn't know how to present these ideas because I'm lazy and I wanted to make it look good. Meant that no videos were uploaded. What changed? Probably nothing, or rather than just guilt almost of not doing it. I enjoyed showing these videos, so I want to try and create these videos again. Kind of dial back, not on my quality, but just not be too harsh on myself to make a video that's as high quality as the 2, 3, 4, 5 million YouTube subscribed channels that do these kind of videos. Just kind of humble myself and say, right, you're a one-man lazy fuck. You can kind of do these videos in your apartment. So, those are my long-winded reasons as to why I haven't made videos. Despite the first 4 reasons I said, it really does come down to I'm lazy. Now, what else is in this video? The apartment that I live in now, I mentioned just before. I've been living in this apartment for nearly 2 years. The reason I moved was because the first apartment, while nice, was also quite small, and I couldn't fully get what I wanted from it. Namely, my kitchen was quite small, and the space where I would play my games, like my laptop, my computer, was also very small. So I wanted to get a bigger area so that I could, like have my own spare room for all my computer stuff, essentially. So that's what my main goal was. So I presented these ideas to the HR at my work, because it's their job to help me with these things. We went apartment hunting for a couple of days. We checked out a couple of them, but they all had this sort of, I don't know how to put it, this kind of Chinese aesthetic where everything was already decorated, had a style. I didn't like that. I really wanted this kind of like just plain white walled apartment so that I could make the changes to it that I wanted. And you see in the pictures that I'm going to show in the videos that this apartment is just plain white walls. That's all I wanted, because it's easier to do your own thing from there. And many of the apartments that we found were also quite far out, so I'd have to get like a bus or a taxi to work. So I was like, I don't like that. And then, but she was also limiting herself to a budget of what my work could cover. Now, I'll go more in depth into this. I probably have already spoken about it, but my work covers rent up to 1,500 Chinese yuan, RMB, which it can usually do quite well with a lot of the apartments. The first apartment was quite good for that price, but then I said to my HR, I was like, I don't care how much it is, I'll cover the rest. You guys cover what you can, and I'll cover the rest. And that opened up like the criteria of apartments. So probably pretty much the next day, she's like, Dylan, I've got this apartment. Let's go and check it out. It's in this really rich, fancy area. And I was like, okay. And it was 5 minutes from my work's original place. So we walked there. I walked in, saw these grand statues, and there's all this like stonework and this fancy like community building that was like guarding the block of apartments. I thought, maybe this is too expensive. We went in, we went up to the 21st floor, and I was like, fuck, that's high. And I walked in, and I was presented with this huge open living room and kitchen, all white walls, it was massive, and there was 3 bedrooms, all just white walls. There was a balcony, and then obviously the bathroom. I was like, this is it. This is perfect. This is what I want. Such open spaces, white walls, no decoration whatsoever. The only things that I didn't really like was the bathroom and the limiting space of the kitchen. But I was willing to deal with it because I had these 3 bedrooms. One of them I could use as storage. One of them I could use for my bed, obviously, and the other one I could use for my games and my computer. And then I have my living room, and then I've got a balcony as well. A balcony is something I never cared about, but here we are, I've got a balcony. So I asked them how much was it going to be per month, and they said, no, we do on a quarterly basis, and it's 9,300 RMB, Chinese yuan, every 3 months. So it comes out to 9,300 RMB every 3 months, or about £930 every 3 months. My bosses cover 1,500 RMB a month, which over 3 months is 4,500 RMB, or £450. Meaning I generally only have to cover about just under 5,000 myself, which every 3 months that is. So that's excellent. That's about 5,000 RMB, £500 every 3 months I need to cover. That's amazing, especially with my pay that I'll talk about later. That meant I could get this great apartment. It wasn't that expensive, and I could get everything I wanted involved with it. So I pretty much immediately accepted this apartment and began moving in, which I explained about doing one-handed. And after 2 years and a lot of apartment decoration changes, here we are with what this apartment looks like now. Let's start with the most boring room, which is my bedroom. In my apartment, I like to swap around what goes in what room from time to time, mainly out of boredom, just because I want to see what else can go where and can it look better. You see with some photos I'll post, that it changes quite often in the aesthetic and the look of it. Right now, I'm not entirely happy with how the apartment looks, but it has to be this way due to some roommates that you'll see. So my bedroom is quite simplistic. There's the bed, there's the drawers, and there's some small aesthetic things. The posters of space and the lightsaber are aesthetics that came from the game room, the computer room. So those were things that I originally had there, and I wanted them to be there. And the only reason I've not swapped them is because I don't want to do all the measuring out for what goes where again. So I've just left them as is. There's a couple of extra things like the mirrors there just to see how fat I am, and then there's the LED kind of clock on the drawers that has an alarm set in for when I have to wake up. So the next room is my kind of hobby room, the game room, I guess. This is where my computer is. This is where I will play most of my games. This is where I'll generally be most of the time. Again, I don't like the look of it right now. The TV is where it is because I'm recording some games and streaming, so I need my capture card to be relatively close to the PC, and this is the best place it can be. So that's where that is, but usually that's where my kind of craft stuff will go, where I'll build Lego. That's where all that usually is, just so that I've got like this kind of like work desk that's not where my PC is. Again, my PC's there with the absolutely atrocious wire management, but I've just kind of not cared at this point. I don't really care about that. And then there's just some decorations, mostly the Marvel stuff, the like Thor's Thor's hammer and axe, Captain America's shield, and then the Infinity Gauntlet. That's normally where the TV goes, but right now it's just there to fill out something. And when I was doing online classes, it was just some aesthetic for kids could see in my background. Now, my next place that I'll talk about is my kitchen. Now, I'm not going to show you in depth on my kitchen. Like I said, my kitchen, I'm not too happy with the space, so I've had to buy a lot of kind of things to fill it out. That main shelf you see next, like underneath the window, is just the one that was there, and I bought 2 other ones just to give me some more worktop space for cooking and such. Because like as you can see, that it's like there's the stove, like the rings on the left, and then there's a sink in the middle, and then there's a small little workspace on the right. It doesn't fit, it doesn't work. So I bought a ton of extra stuff, and then there's a table that I usually use to eat, but right now it's usually just to hold everything, like kind of place everything there when I come in from work. The last room is my living room. This is the room that I put a bit more effort into because it's the room that me and my guests are going to immediately see when they come in. So I tried to make this one look as nice as possible. Right now, it doesn't look that way due to all the cats that I've got and me having to clear space for them and mind any ornaments or Lego doesn't get destroyed by them playing and exploring. But generally, I'm happy with the aesthetic of it. I really like the posters of Japan in the back, the 3 cities that I visited when I went to Japan. It's got the big TV stand with all the figures and collectibles, and of course my consoles, mostly the Switch and the Xbox. Those are like the party consoles for me, for when people come round. And I also have, kind of in the hallway where the living room is, I have this memory wall, I guess you could say. It's just like a collection of photos of my favourite photos over the past few years, mostly in China, but it's also got some photos from years and years ago, some from Japan, some from Amsterdam, some from back home. It's just nice to have those to look back on, and it's also a talking point. Guests come round, they see them, and then they start like exploring. It's quite a nice thing to have. And yeah, that is my apartment. I'm not showing the spare room, like the 3rd bedroom that I mentioned, or the bathroom, because both of those are not exactly nice things to look at. The bathroom, because it's generally it's a bathroom, and as I've said, I don't like the bathroom's looks, but I'm not going to put any money into changing it. It's got a drawer, it's got a washing machine in it, a toilet, and a shower. That's all, and a sink. That's all you need to know. The spare room is where the cats go and do their business, and is also where I store a lot of furniture and extra stuff. There's generally nothing I need to show in there that it would pique your interest, so I'm not going to show any of those rooms. So I just wanted to focus on these rooms that I do actually use quite often, and most of the time look quite good. The final thing I'm going to talk about is what is coming next for videos. I have 2 topics that I'm going to do, and the first one is my life, which I've already done, but it's my life. Yes, the episode is called My Life in China, but I am going to talk about what has my life been like after almost 3 years of living in China, especially during the pandemic and the multiple lockdowns that we've had at this point. On top of like what has my social life been like, how have I adapted to the food and services around here. And another episode is going to be on my work. And now that one's going to be a lot of in-depth talk on how I got to work, how I got the job, what you need, what it's like working here, what it was like working at the beginning versus now. So that one's going to be a mixture of information for people who don't know what it's like, and advice and information for people who are considering to come work here. That's it for this video. It's a fairly long video, spent a lot of time talking, but I hope you all enjoyed it, because I hope I can get some reception to this. I'm not the kind of person that needs the reception to continue making things, but it's definitely a motivation, regardless of what I'm saying here. So if people are into it, I will try to make these videos more and more. I'll try to put more ideas out and whatnot. And yeah, I hope you guys liked it, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Bye bye.